kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to this special live edition of Double K's Classroom as I sit here with you on the 4 Aces Presents Radio Network. I am Double K, and I am here to bring to you some great sports topics that, I kind of looked up and found out, and I'm going to give you a couple of my opinions, bringing you a good lesson of the day today about Jimmy G, that boy Jimmy G out there, and the 49ers. So we're going to run about our basic time, about a half hour today. Y'all just sit back and enjoy. Be sure to kick it around and get your notebooks out because I got a little bit of teaching. Bottom line is, guys, whether you like it or not, the Golden State Warriors are one of the best teams in basketball, and their most recent stretch of games pretty much shows that. And no, I actually do not mean the 11 straight wins that they clocked in. I don't. Like, a lot of people would think that I mean that because it's a pretty sick winning streak, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this team that has shown through not necessarily adversity, but through injury, that they still have the ability to knock it out the park and be a solid team. If you look at what the Warriors have done, 11 straight, they've won what? Like, I want to say something like 22 of 23 in their past, 23 games. They're 9-1 in their past 10. Their only loss coming recently to Denver. And what they did, and I don't really know what happened in that game, but I know that they were without Steph and Draymond, Steph and Durant for a little bit. They're still out with Steph, but Steph should be back by tomorrow. Thank God! Yay! Steph Curry should be back tomorrow. It's one of those things that should help boost them even more. But with a record of 28-6, they are sitting atop the Western Conference and atop all of basketball with an 800 winning percentage, 14 home wins, 14 road wins, 4 division wins, 15-5 within their own conference. They're winning by a difference of about 10 points a game. I think they're like the second or third best squad as far as scoring. On defense, they're really a top 10 in almost every statistical category. They've had a lot of come from behind wins. Their bench has not necessarily played as well as we all would have liked them to, but it's definitely something that can be fixed by playoff time. And as these guys get more and more play time, or more and more deeper into the season, we're going to realize that this play time that these cats have been receiving over the past few weeks while Steph was out, These minutes that guys like Jordan Bell has been receiving and stuff like that are going to be huge come playoff time. They're going to have poise. They're going to have grace. They're going to be able to do things that not many kids at their age are able to do necessarily. And I'm telling you right now, like, pay attention to guys like Jordan Bell. Pay attention to guys like Nick Young come playoff time, because these minutes that they're getting right now are going to be huge come late season or late season and postseason, because we're going to need to be able to rest Steph. We're going to need to be able to rest Clay. And these guys are going to be able to, McCall, these guys are going to be able to put in, guys like McCall are going to be able to put in minutes that are going to be able to help out the Warriors, and the Warriors looking to A, clinch down the number 1 seed, and B, when they look to finish off a team like Cleveland and win that championship, a team that can play good defense late, is a team that can definitely look to lock up a championship at some point this season. Right now, I'm currently watching the Warriors game against the Charlotte Hornets, a team they already beat, but right now they are down 32-29 at the end of the first quarter. But once again, this is a team that has been down to a lot of different teams recently, and has still managed to find a way to come back. Let's get to that. Let's get to that. How do you say that? Christmas Day game. It's kind of pissing me off. I'm kind of like irritated with the complaints, and not because it's not a fair assessment. Which, by the way, yes, the Warriors are first in points scored per game and 13th in points allowed. They have number 1 assist rate at 30 assists per game, 30 clips of assists per game, 45 rebounds. They're in the top 10 there. That's how you build a champion. You have a roundabout team. You have a rounded out team that is good at all levels. Jordan Bell, who's averaging 5.3 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, and 1.1 block per game, is my featured kind of guy that I want to talk about, not only during this stretch, but just this season. He is part of the reason why him and the progression of Damian Jones down in the G League is the reason why the Warriors are willing to move on JaVale McGee and move him in a trade. McGee is a very strong presence, but is McGee giving us anything more than what we could get out of a Jordan Bell and out of Damian Jones? And I agree that it's not. He's not necessarily going to give us more. I love JaVale McGee. I love the energy he brings. There's certain things on the defensive side that he brings that a lot of people don't really get. And I even though I like and I definitely love the fact that these guys, or that JaVale gave us his all, I also see that having 2 younger guys who can come in like Bell, like Jones, and give us the same type of energy and give us the same type of defense and give us the same statistical thing on the offensive side. Now, I personally think if you're going to let go of McGee, you either trade him during the offseason if he's on a 2-year deal, or you just let him go during this offseason. The reason why I say you wait till the offseason is because if you remember last year, JaVale McGee had a pretty decent run in the playoffs. I believe he had a game where he scored like 12 points and had 8 rebounds. He had another game where he had 16. And I believe he had a couple huge games in the finals too. Like, not necessarily a lot of minutes. He was doing all this in 8 to 10 minutes on the floor, but he was getting it done. And that's where I say, keep McGee for the playoff run. Let him rest. Let him not play that much. Because if you're going to win a second ring, why not? Why not let him be the same big monster piece that he was last year to the Warriors winning a title? The Warriors who are sitting on top of the NBA record-wise sit at 28-7, like I said. They are 2.5 games above the Rockets. The Rockets are an interesting case because the Rockets have lost 5 straight After starting out the season 25-4, they've dropped 5 straight games. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost games to teams that really they shouldn't have. Well, they lost the game to the Celtics, but they blew a 26-point lead. You know, it's a team that I think will have consistent wins. It'll be a typical Mike D'Antoni team. Remember Phoenix from a while back? Phoenix would always have good records. They would have 45, 48, 50 wins, 55 wins, but they never really did anything in the playoffs. I don't know why, but that D'Antoni style of play just doesn't really work too well come playoff time when it gets down to what they call a half-court game. So let me stop right there and just say, go Dubs. The Warriors are one of the best built teams in recent years, are one of the best playing teams in recent years, and they were their run, whether you're going to call this a bold prediction or just me speaking the truth. As long as all these guys stay healthy, this Warriors team should be able to run for at least another 4 or 5 years. Jalen Rose supposedly knows the team that's going to knock them off. I've yet to have a chance to read that article, but yeah, Jalen Rose seems to think he knows who's going to knock him off. I don't think there really is anybody, especially in the West, that can knock him off. Maybe Cleveland in the East, but we'll see. But before I go to commercial break, let me just tell you, you can find me on my blog, doublecaseclassroom.blogspot.com, and you can also find me on Twitter at @KKDouble. Like me, share me. You'll find all the 4 Aces shows, including a couple that you're about to hear about now. You're listening to Revolving Door episodes on Friday nights right here on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio on the 4 Aces Presents Radio Network.
Hey, tune in Friday nights on Spreaker.com, 4 Aces Presents Radio for Planet of Coal or Double K's Classroom. Then you get Planet of Coal, Blues Rockin' Coal, and Double K's 5th period music class. That starts at 8 p.m. Pacific, and Planet of Coal is at 9 p.m. Pacific. Appreciate it. Hey, Saturday night, live at 7 p.m. Pacific. Check out the Mr. Deacon Experience, only on Spreaker.com, 4 Aces Presents Radio.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
All right, guys, how you doing? I am Double K, and this is my lesson of the day. And it's a very simple lesson, very easily learned. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the savior of the 49ers at quarterback. And I don't mean the savior of the franchise as a whole, because that's going to take more than one guy stepping up, even though they do have quite a few guys that are stepping up on defense, and they have quite a few guys that are stepping up even on the opposite side of the offensive end. This team is looking really good, and a lot of it has to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. 1,268 yards. 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The guy has been sacked 8 times. He's got a quarterback rating of 98.9. By far the highest out of any Niners quarterback this season, and he has he has San Francisco a buzz, and with good reason. Like who knew? Who could have honestly looked me in my face and told me at the beginning of the season, A, that Jimmy Garoppolo would be a 49er, and B, that not only would he be a 49er, but he would rock the world.